What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full Serene Grace Pokemon team. 7 years ago, I did this team, and I think it could use a little revamp and see what I can do differently. These are the Pokemon that get Serene Grace in Scarlet and Violet. There are a couple here that you can't get, like the Togepi and Togekiss line, so I picked one of each fully evolved Pokemon, and I put them onto one team. I primarily tried to pick moves that always have a chance of doing a secondary effect, doubling it, like Serene Grace does. So a lot of the time, I pick movesets which aren't like super duper strong. First battle here, no idea what my opponent's name is. We're going to roundabout on the Poke Portal. We've got a pretty bad matchup here for Blissey, so I'm going to be going for a Terror on the very first turn. This Blissey set is absolutely terrible, but actually a few of the battles I had with it, it worked out rather well, and it seemed to take the opponents by surprise. So this is purely based around getting a double secondary boost here. So we've got Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball obviously has a 20% chance to drop the special defense. And I've got Thunder, which has a 30%, so that makes it 60%. And then Water Pulse, which has a 20%, which is going to be 40% with Serene Grace. So I'm trying to get a Paralyze with Thunder, and then I'm trying to get a Confusion with Water Pulse. Shadow Ball is just there to do extra damage, you know, dropping the opponent's special defense and stuff like that. So I took out that Iron Hands. They tried to set up the Belly Drum against Blissey, which is pretty funny, and they underestimated it. Next Pokemon is going to be Giratina. This is going to be a definite threat for Blissey, so I'm going to have to swap that out and go into Meloetta. That Blissey was max health and max special attack, by the way, modest nature. So going to Meloetta, I've got that normal type. I noticed this had all the elemental punches, so I went with a physical one for a bit of fun. So we got max attack and max health on this, like really bulky. They're going to obviously dodge the anti-status there from my Ice Punch. I was actually trying to get a freeze here and do a lot of damage with the Draco Meteor. So going for Ice Punch again on the Giratina is doing pretty good damage, and then I got a Freeze Axe, which is awesome. So with the Ice Punch, it's a double chance. It's like 20% chance to get a freeze. Unfortunately, they thawed out instantly, and they missed a Draco Meteor. So it wasn't all that bad. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go for another Ice Punch here. I've got, like, you know, tons of them to go for. So I go for another Ice Punch there. Giratina is going to live, and then it got frozen again. So it's letting it go at the moment. The bad thing is, right, it thawed out, like, back to back. You wouldn't read about it. So it was able to get another Draco Meteor off on my Meloetta. Thankfully, they already had a special attack drop. Sorry, a harsh special attack drop. And that put me in my range of my item, being my Lychee Berry. So that boosted my attack another additional stage. So the EVs on this one were as follows. Sorry, we got max speed and max attack Jolly Nature. Lychee Berry as the item. And, you know, Zen Headbutt as 40% with the Serene Grace. Ice Punch has 20%. Thunder Punch, 20% to Paralyze. And Fire Punch, 20% to Burn. So we got a Zapdos coming in here. It's going to go for close combat. I tried to go for another freeze there, but it didn't happen. And Zapdos is going to finish me off. It's fine. It was a pretty good job so far with the physical Meloetta. Next Pokemon we're going to bring in is Blissey. I've got that Terra Ghost already, so I thought, well, at least I won't be able to use a fighting move. That's going to cause them to swap into the Rayquaza. So Rayquaza is going to hit very hard with any, you know, kind of physical move here. So I go for a Thunder from down under. I got a Sympathy crit there and a Paralyze too. So that did, you know, half of Rayquaza's health, which is really good. So I put my plan into action here. I went for a Water Pulse, right? And I actually rolled the Confusion on Water Pulse, which is crazy. So I've got Parafusion, but bad things happen here, right? Rayquaza started eating a berry. It's a Person Berry, and it's bad, right? Because this has got Outrage. So the Person Berry was on the Rayquaza to actually cure the Outrage Confusion. So it turned out to be an absolute disaster. So that's the end of Blissey. Bring it into Dunsparce now. This is a absolutely fat, bulky set. We got Ancient Power, Serene Grace, Air Slash, and Ice Beam. Now, funny story about this, the Dunsparce's moveset. So I couldn't really figure out what move to put on it for the last one. I was trying to think of something. So I accidentally left Roost on there, and my item was Assault Vest, right? So I actually couldn't use Roost this entire video. So when I did all the battles, I just forgot to put like a final move on there. So so I was sort of focusing on Ancient Power mostly, but, you know, that's if you're curious why I put Assault Vest and Roost, that's why, because I just forgot about the last 4 move there, because I had the Dunsparce, an existing one, and I sort of modified it into, like, a bulky set, but I never actually got rid of Roost, so there you go. We got Miraidon coming in. They're going to go for the little Timmy Electric Drift. That is the end of the Dunsparce, obviously. This is like a bulky Ancient Power set, like a boosting set, so Ancient Power is like 20%, Air Slash is 60% to flinch, Ice Beam is 20% to freeze. Terra type was Flying, Max Health, and Max Defense, Bold Nature. So Miraidon's going to be a mix set with Outrage. This Sawsbuck is a headbutting set, so there really wasn't a lot I could do here. This thing was very, very quick. So I'm going to be swapping into Jirachi now. So I gave this Jirachi, like, terrible, terrible moves, because Jirachi really is... I'd say it's one of the best Serene Grace users with Iron Head, and it's very, very good, right? Probably second only to, like, Togekiss, I would say, the best Serene Grace Pokemon, because you can abuse Air Slash and flinch and stuff like that. So I managed to get a Psybeam off there, and I got a Confusion with Psybeam, which is pretty cool on Miraidon. This has a 20% chance for Serene Grace to confuse, and they're going to be locked into Outrage at the moment. So I'm going for Psybeam. I'm firing it out of, I think it's like an eyeball on Jirachi's stomach, and unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to, to take it out, because I was hoping it would hit itself for Confusion, but it did not. That was max special attack and max speed, Timber Nature. So Charge Beam, virtually 100% chance to get a boost there, because it already starts with 70%. Psybeam, Energy Ball is 20%, and Water Pulse, we already went over that already. So, my last Pokemon here is Shaman. This is Shaman Skyform. Now, this set was max health and max speed, so I didn't want it to be max special attack, because I found, with super powerful moves like Seed Flare and stuff, I would just feint enemies. I wouldn't actually get any status drop, so I deliberately nerfed this set. Their last Pokemon is going to be Arceus Electric, and they're going to go for a little Timmy Terra here. Now, it turned out they're going to go for Terra Normal, so Terra Normal Arceus, so well, they're probably going to use Extreme Speed, the usual, usual sort of stuff, and they're going to go for Judgment instead, so that was enough to take out the Shaman. It already took a fair bit of damage there. That had Seed Flare, which is, that's 80% chance to get a special defense drop of 2, and Air Slash is Earth Power as well. So Earth Slash is 60 and Earth Power is 20. No, I actually thought I'd lost this battle, right? I really did, because I thought they were just going to one-shot me. Then they went for a sub, right? So first they went for double kick, and then they went for bullet seize. And I'm trying to break the substitute on Arceus. Now, I actually got a couple of lucky critical hits on this Sawsbuck, but Arceus is still very, very bulky, right? So it was able to live these like really, really well. This Sawsbuck was max attack and max speed, Jolly Nature. King's Rock is the item, so King's Rock actually has a double chance of boost, chance of actually getting a flinch, so it goes from 10 to 20%. That actually changed, and I actually managed to take out this Arceus purely here with Headbutt Flinch spam. I don't know why Judgment didn't feint Sawsbuck. I have no idea, but it was awesome, right? So I finished him off with the Disrespect double kick, and that is the end of the very first battle. I kind of gave up when I threw out my Sawsbuck there. That's why I went for the double kick flinch spam. And I don't know. I have no idea. I think that took less damage than Shaman did. So I have no idea. But I hope you enjoyed that first battle. You enjoyed all those freeze hacks, and then the opponent just instantly throwing out. Next battle here. This is another random battle on the Poké Portal. We have a Quagsire lead. Now I had a very strong feeling they would start with Quagsire. That's why I'd led with Jirachi, and that was a perfect play. So I pretty much got that KO just from the team preview there. Was it Ches the Cherry? I think that's, I'm not sure what that I think that's what it is, Ches the Cherry. So we got a Flutter Mane here. It's got a typical sort of item here, boosting its speed, and it's going to go for Shadow Ball. So this is a very, very tough Pokemon, to get around. Jirachi's Natural Bulk actually saved it here. I was actually trying to get a Confusion with Water Pulse, and it sort of failed. So I swapped it out and went into Blissey. I had a little bit of a plan here. I thought maybe I can get a Shadow Ball against the Flutter Mane, or maybe go for a Thunder and a Paralyze. Then the Flutter Mane started setting up Calm Minds against it, which was pretty problematic there, but I needed to try and get some good lucky with Shadow Ball. So I thought I'll go for Shadow Ball, see if I can get some special defense drops. So it's still doing pretty good damage there, and I got a special defense drop. So that sort of negated that Calm Mind special defensive boost. Now the Flutterlane is going to be going, Fluttermane is going to be going for that Draining Kiss there, getting lots of health back. However, if I keep attacking, I feel like if I keep attacking with Blissey's Shadow Ball, I should eventually get special defense drops there, and Flutterlane would be obviously forced to swap out, so that was pretty good. Next Pokemon to come in is going to be Annihilate, so this is definitely going to have a fighting move, like say Drain Punch, close combat, whatever, and I'm hitting it with Shadow Ball, so it's doing some pretty good damage. I think they tried to get a Defiant boost there, or hoping for a special defense drop. So I decided to go for the Terra Ghost again on Blissey. It's funny how many times I actually went for Terra Ghost on Blissey, considering how terrible this set was, and they went for the obvious Drain Punch there. So I'm going to dodge that rather nicely, and I'm going to get myself another free damage with Shadow Ball. Since I've got Terra, that's Terra Ghost, it's going to do a lot more damage than the first one. Almost taking out, very, very close. Now I know they're most definitely going to go for Rage Fist, so I did a swap into Sawsbuck there, and that's not going to affect me. So that worked out perfectly, and now I can finish them off with a Disrespect Bullet Seed. So that absolutely worked perfectly. So all my predictions have been on point so far. Really getting around these, definitely some meta Pokemon. Next Pokemon surprised me a little bit. They had a Toucannon, so I was like, oh, this is interesting. They're going to go for a Beak Blast. So Beak Blast is a really, really cool move. What happens if you get hit by a contacting move? You get burned, and obviously they attack afterwards. However, I had King's Rock on there, and I had the Headbutt as well, so that had virtually no chance of even attacking there. So I got some Headbutt flinch there. I was really, really hoping I could finish this thing off before it landed any attacks on me at all, but it managed to get around. So it seems to be like a skill link rock throw there. Rock throw set, rock blast set, and that hit me 5 times. So that did a lot of damage to me. So I'm still thinking this is all right. I could go for another headbutt if I get a flinch here, and I did. So I thought, I bet you they're going to swap here and go into Fluttermane, right? So I decided to go for Zen Headbutt and get some extra damage. I know that I was burned already, but it was still pretty good damage there. So I've got one more turn here. They're going to swap again. I had a little feeling they'd either finish me off or swap out again, and they went into Superior. Now, Superior is going to take the Bullet Seed here. It's not going to do, obviously, very much damage to it, and I pretty much know what they're going to do. They're just going to be the generic Leaf Storm set with Contrary. So I have to watch out for this thing because it is a very strong Pokemon, and I don't want to I don't want to let it set up too much. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do a risk here. This could be really risky. So I went into Jirachi. I was hoping I'd outspeed. I did not. Their Leaf Storm missed, thankfully, and I got a Psybeam off here. So Psybeam does reasonable damage, but no confusion. So pretty much the Superior is going to get a Leaf Storm anyway. I got a bit of extra damage there, which was nice. So +2 in special attack. I have to take this thing out. So I'm going to the Dunsparce here. I know that I've got Ice Beam, so I went for Ice Beam. That did a fat amount of damage there to me, as expected. And I've got Terra Flying here as well. So I went for Ice Beam. It just lived, right? So close. Now they're actually going to go for a rest instead of attacking me, which I thought was interesting. So they're going to have a Chesto Berry as the item. I was seeing this, I doubt they've got rest and sleep talk. So they've got that Chesto Berry, which is fine. They're going to have all their health back. So I went for Ice Beam again. Now the bad thing with them, the worst thing you can do against a Serene Grace Pokemon is stall, right? Because eventually you are going to land that secondary effect. And in this case, I got an Ice Beam. So if I was them, I probably would have gone for another Leaf Storm there to finish off the Dunsparce. Anyway, that Superior is going to be frozen. I'm going for an Ancient Power Boost here to finish it off, but it never happened. So Wiggle will not be wiggling for a while after that one. So next Pokemon we got is going to be Toucannon. Now watch this. This is pretty funny, right? So they're going to go for a Rock Blast. I'm like, well, I'm going to be able to live this Rock Blast, pretty well. It's not doing a lot of damage to me at all. Even if, let's say, they get 5 hits against the Dunsparce, even with a few crits in there, which even happened too, I'm going to be able to live it and take it out. However, my opponent had a King's Rock as well, so I got a bit of a taste of my own medicine there with the flinches. So that's going to be the end of the Dunsparce. Not that it really worried me all that much, because I had multiple Pokemon I could bring in and revenge faint the Toucannon, right? So I'm going to bring in Meloetta, slap that Toucannon, because Two can play that game, and that's the 4th Pokemon now. So we've got Flutterlane and one more. So I know I can live this, because this thing has a fat amount of special defense. I lived that Moonblast really, really well, and I slapped that Ghost, and that's the end of the Fluttermane. However, the last Pokemon was pretty scary. It was an Eternatus. I'm like, Okay, this is going to be really difficult to feint this because it's going to hit hard and it's going to be really, really tanky. And it's probably going to outspeed every single one of my remaining Pokemon. So we got a little Timmy Terra here. It's going to be Terra Poison, and this thing I know is going to drop really, really hard. It's going to do some, powerful attacks. So instead of going for a special move, it was physical. So I'm like, oh no, that's worse. I possibly could have lived a special move there, but that's the end of Meloetta. I was hoping to get a Zen Headbutt. So now I'm going to go into Shaman. It's outspeeding my max speed Shaman as well. However, this thing is max health, so I'm living that outrage a little bit better. Not that Eternatus is really known for its physical attack. So I got the Earth Power off, but without those special attack EVs, it was lacking in damage, and I didn't get any special defensive drops at all. However, it did hit itself in Confusion. So I'm going for Earth Power. I'm trying to get that W here, and it snapped out of Confusion, and it has Recover. So I'm like, oh no, this is going to be difficult, right? Because I'm going to need to get a special defensive drop on Earth Power or something, right? I need a special defense drop. So it's doing pretty good damage, but it's still like 2 more. Then it unloads a Hyper Beam, and that's going to take out Shaman. Eternatus has a lot of special attacks, so that's the end of Shaman. Last Pokemon here is going to be Blissey. I thought I might be able to go for Thunder and get that Paralysis and Water Pulse combination going. I'm pretty sure, pretty confident if I get that, I can shut down the Eternatus. So I missed the first one. I got a Blunder Policy. That was my item, and they went for another Recover here. So I'm like, okay, that's all right. That gives me another chancey. And Thunder misses for the second time in a row. I'm like, oh, this really, really sucks. So here comes another Thunder. I barely lived that first Thunder, Outrage, and then I missed the third Thunder in a row. So I ended up missing 3 Thunders in a row there, and that's it. I got bad luck at the end of the battle, right? I go good luck at the start, but bad luck at the end. GG's on my opponent there, man. That was a pretty sweaty team then when you take out this Toucan, and like, damn, I was pretty happy with how they did though. There's some good matchups there. All right, let's get on to battle number 3. This one is against I'm not sure how to say that. It was like Tavach or something like that. This is another random battle, and we got a Pikachu lead. So Pikachu was gonna get frozen by the Ice Punch, which is pretty nice. And of course, it's gonna throw out right away. But I don't know what's going on, right? I had so many battles where I get a freeze axe against the opponent, right? Then they just thaw out instantly. What's the chance of getting thawed out again? Like 20? I think it's 20%. Chance to get thawed out, like, and straight away too. That's like really, really lucky. Anyway, so I'm trying to take out this Pikachu at the moment. Then it starts going for double team. It's a troll set. They're trying to get that evasion. Also, people, if you enjoy my videos, you want to see them more often in the subscriptions and stuff like that, make sure you hit that like button. Leave me a comment. What's your favorite Serene Grace Pokemon? Or let me know and stuff, or anything about the video. I always love to hear your comments and stuff while I'm eating my my breakfast there. So we got an Incineroar coming in. I got rid of that Pikachu, and it's going to go for a Fake Out and Parting Shot. So, the typical Incineroar set that we've all seen before. That's going to drop my stats. So it didn't, Meloetta didn't really have an amazing attack stat anyway, to be honest. So I know I'm not going to do a lot of damage to the Pinchurchin. So Pinchurchin is going to set up that Electric Terrain. I went for Thunder Punch, for a Paralysis. Then I went for an Ice Punch. I was going for a Freeze Axe, and it didn't happen. So now this thing is going to set up Acupressures, and it got a sharp defense rise, so nothing I can do there. I mean, I could try and go for an Ice Punch, but I may not get it right. I could go for like 10 of them and let this thing set up. So I did a swap here. They got another defensive drop. Rise there, Sharp Run. I went for the Seed Flare. Special defensive drop straight away there. Now that, I will say, Seed Flare is the best move, pretty much one of the best moves to use with Serene Grace, because it starts off at 40%, and it has a 40% chance to drop your special defense 2 stages, which is crazy for such a powerful Pokemon. And yeah, it's a very fast Pokemon too. That was part of the reason I didn't give this any special attack EVs, because I'd be faking the Pokemon right, but you wouldn't actually see any special defensive drops. So we got Pinchurchin to swap it out, and we Incineroar, and then with this Gyarados coming here. So I was really trying to get this Gyarados to flinch, because it was a problem, right? They tried to get around my Earth Powers by swapping it in, but I knew they'd try and swap it in. I knew what their team preview was. So they tried setting up some Dragon Dances here with the Gyarados, but since I'm such a fast Pokemon, I was like, I might still be able to outspeed, but I didn't, right? So then they got the outspeed with Scale Shot, but Scale Shot only landed twice, which is very, very lucky there. So it wasn't a it definitely wasn't a loaded dice Gyarados at all. So I'm going to finish him off here with the Air Slash, and thank goodness, because that would have been definitely a big threat. So there's a very, very scary Pokemon on their team, if you take away Pikachu. Next Pokemon is Pinchurchin. I think they're just swapping this back in to set up the electric terrain again. They have got a Pokemon which is going to work, rather nicely with that. And I'm just going to finish him off with the Seed Flare there. So bye-bye Pinchurchin. Next Pokemon to come is going to be Raichu. So they've got that Surge Surfer, which is going to make it very, very fast. They can easily finish off my Shaman there and only had a bit of health left regardless. So that's the end of Shaman. We're going to bring in Meloetta. I've got a fat amount of special defense. I was wondering if I could barely live this, and I didn't. So that wasn't too much of a surprise. I used that also to stall out the electric terrain. So we're going to bring in Blissey now. I feel like I can definitely at least wall this Raichu. They're going to be swapping into the Incineroar again. So Incineroar's going to drop my attack, not that it really matters. And once again, I sort of found myself in a situation where I was like, should I go for Terra Ghost here? Yeah, what? Let's go for it, right? It's a very risky play, but I thought if I go for Terra Ghost, they might have a fighting move here, like Drain Punch or something like that. I can get around that, and I can get the Thunder off, with the terrain on the field. That could be really, really cool, right? So I got for Terra Ghost, and they went for Knockoff. I'm like, no! So that's the end of my Blissey, and I wasted my Terra, but they definitely didn't expect me to go for Terra Ghost. They were just lucky they picked a Dark-type move, which is, a pretty decent chance of them doing that. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Sawsbuck. We're going to go for some Headbutt Flinch spam. This Incineroar actually had Rocky Helmet, so it did some damage to me. Not that it really mattered. I had a fair bit of health left anyway. They're going to be swapping into Raichu now. They obviously don't want to lose their Incineroar. Raichu takes a big hit there from Headbutt, and it goes to Thunderbolt. I want to say they probably didn't have a lot to hit me outside of an electric or a psychic move, but I felt like Sawsbuck would have lived a psychic move anyway, badly. So that's the end of Raichu. They're going to bring a Meowstic and then clap them Sawsbuck cheeks. Getting a crit didn't faint me though, which is good. And they're going to start setting up some screens here. So this is a Prankster set. Usually it's very, very good at setting those up. And my moves aren't doing a lot of damage here, so I'm just going for a Headbutt. Not that it really matters, because I feel like I could just keep attacking them over and over, and eventually the screens will run out. Now, I managed to get a nice crit there with the Headbutt. They set up Gravity. They don't seem to have any attacking moves outside of Fake Out. So, they tried using the same move again there, and I think they only had Fake Out as an attacking move. It's like a pure support Meowstic. So that's the end of that. Last Pokemon they've got here. Sorry, they've still got... No, last Pokemon is the Incineroar, and I don't have a lot to do here, so I'm just going to let them, faint my Sawsbuck. I don't really want to swap into a knockoff or anything, so that was, way too risky. So, last Pokemon is Jirachi. Sorry, I've got another Pokemon apart from this, and I thought, well, I'll go for Water Pulse on the Sun. Let's get that confusion, right? I was hoping for a confusion, and I got it. I was like, if I got that, they would get, confused and then faint themselves. But it never happened, which sucks. Incineroar actually knocked off my Bright Powder. That was my Jirachi's item, and I finished him off with a Disrespect Energy Ball, and that is the end of the third battle here. I've got 7 battles today, so I hope you enjoyed these nice longer videos, people. And thank you to Vatch, whoever you are, for the battle. Once again, if I battle any of you if you see I've battled any of you in these videos, random people that ever come across them, always let me know in the comment section. Always like to know that. Let's get on to the next battle here. I'm not sure my opponent's name. Maybe we can get the few people in the comment section who always translate them. Thank you so much. And we got a Morsol lead, but I managed to actually flinch them with the Headbutt, which is really, really good. So that was a solid start to the battle. In comes Sneasler. I'm going to get absolutely destroyed, so I went into Jirachi, which is a pretty solid swap in for this. They're going to go for the obvious Fake Out here with the normal gem. And yeah, they're going to be very, very fast now. So now they're going to go for Shadow Claw. I lived that fairly well, and Psybeam is going to be enough to take it out there in one shot. It's not a very bulky Pokemon either, and I've got a 4 times super effective, which is kind of nice. So Disrespect Psybeam. They're going to bring in Smeargle here. I thought they may try and go for Spore, so I went to Sawsbuck, and they went for Sticky Web. So that was sort of like my second choice to go for. So now that Sawsbuck's in, I thought, well, there's no point swapping it out because I don't want to lose my speed advantage, especially with these flinching sets, right? You really do need speed. Unfortunately, Smeagol's going to go for a Silk Trap. So Silk Trap is actually going to protect against my move, and it's going to drop my speed too, which is a bit of a bummer because, Sawsbuck with -1 in speed isn't really all that fast, right? So they're going to be a moody Smeagol. They're trying to boost their stats. Now they're going to set up the Stealth Rock. So they're trying to, obviously they're just doing some entry hazards and dropping speed and stuff like that. Typical sort of Smeagol set. I figured they'd probably have a Focus Sash as the item, so Double Kick actually got around that, which was like super nice. So that's the end of Smeagol. So half the team's now gone. Next Pokemon's going to be Samurott. They're going to go for a Ceaseless Edge, obviously, and they're going to set a layer of spikes up on the field. Now, with this Sawsbuck, unfortunately, since I don't have my speed advantage, thanks to the Silk Trap from Smeagol before, I actually have to go for Bullet Seed and hope that I land like 4 times, and I got 2, which really, really sucked. Like, if I got 4, they were lucky, because if I got 4, I would have easily fainted that. So they got another layer of spikes on the field, which is bad, because there's already Stealth Rocks, and there's already 2 layers of spikes, right? So now I'm going to go to Shaman. At least I won't be affected by the spikes. And I went for Giga Drain. Now, I had Giga Drain on there just to get some health back. That was purely on there for getting health back, not anything to do with Serene Grace. So mostly I used all Serene Grace move. I think I swapped it over for like my favorite healing move. Anyway, so in comes... Oh, wait. Watch this, right? I need you all to watch this, because this was super, super weird, right? So we had a Terra Steel Hydreigon, right? Which isn't exactly anything new. I went for Sea Flare, right? Now, Sea Flare, remember, has an 80% chance to drop the opponent's special defense by 2 stages with Serene Grace, right? So it didn't happen that turn. I was like, okay, that's pretty unlucky. So then I went for a second one, right? And it didn't drop with either, so I'm like, oh, hang on, that's pretty lucky, right? So now they're going to go for a Flash Cannon here on Shaman. I lived it on 6 health. Then I went for a third one. I still never got it on 3. I'm like, okay, this is either a covert cloak set or this person's going straight to the lottery and buying a lotto ticket. I don't know what the chances are is, but they rolled 20% chance 3 times in a row. That's pretty lucky. I don't know what the overall percentage is if someone's good at maths or whatever like that, but that's pretty damn lucky. Anyway, so Dun Sparse is going to come in here. I actually went for I didn't actually have a lot to hit this with, to be honest. I went for an Ice Beam, and of course, if I didn't get a secondary with Seed Flare, I probably wasn't going to get it with Ice Beam. So that's the end of Dun Sparse. I have to go into Blissey now. Blissey is going to get caught in that sticky web. Not that it really matters at all. I just went for Shadow Ball here. I was a little bit worried they may get like Fleet Shoot from Dart Pulse, but they went for Taunt. So I guess they're used to fighting a standard Blissey set, not a PIMPNITE special. So we're going to go for Shadow Ball and Faint that. So that's very, very good. That was a very threatening Pokemon. Hydreigon of Nasty Plot is no joke. Next Pokemon, our last Pokemon is going to be Basculegion. They're going to press the A button with their face and go for the Wave Crash. I don't think that crit mattered at all. No. Depends if it was Choice Band, then definitely not. Next Pokemon's going to be Meloetta. Meloetta, I feel like could probably be alright. If it wasn't Choice Band, it might like really badly live. So I'd decide actually to go for the Terra Ice. This is a Terra Ice Punch set. Most of the time, I didn't use this Terra because Blissey was the one funny enough, if you look at my team, it is actually very, very weak to fighting, and it's actually kind of weak to bug as well. So I had to watch out for fighting and bug teams. They were really good against this. Anyway, so Meloetta is going to go down. This thing is absolutely broken, and my last Pokemon is Jirachi. Now, I know this thing can actually pack Aqua Jet, but obviously with Sticky Web on the field, Jirachi is not going to outspeed. And that is that's the end of the battle there. But I got pretty close. These are some pretty damn competitive Pokemon, to say the least there. Like Basculegion, Hydreigon, Samurai. Man, that was a sweaty team, and they just pulled off a sympathy win there at the end. But I hope you enjoyed that 4th battle, people. But how about that Hydreigon, though? That was pretty unlucky. I still think they had Covert Cloak. I reckon they probably did. All right, what's this? Battle number 5. This is the battle against your boy Alejandro, and we got a Yarn Mega lead. So this is going to be a physical Yarn Mega. Very, very nice. I've run a few physical Yarn Mega in my time. So my first Pokemon is going to be Blissey. I thought I'd go for the Gravity. This Gravity will actually make the Yarn Mega fall from the sky because that's a flying type, and it's got that speed boost. Watch this play. We got a quick attack, speed boost Yarn Mega only on PIMPNITE channel. That's like a Wish, Temu, Terra Normal Dragonite. I like that. It's really good. So there's another quick attack there. It's a solid 4-hit KO on Blissey, and we're gonna finish it off with a Disrespect Water Pulse. Man, that Yarn Mega Set, that was some Herba Mystica there. Next Pokemon we got is Medicham. It's called Rub One Out, and then it's gonna finish off my Blissey with a Force Palm. Man, that was brutal, right? Next Pokemon is Dunsparce. I'm actually kind of a little bit worried about this Medicham because it can feint a lot of my team, you know, with any like fighting moves. So I decided to go for the Terra Flying on the Dunsparce, so we get that Terra Flying Air Slash going. Now, the Medicham is going to fling an item. Now, I think it was a TM. It was probably TM69, but obviously that fails now, which sucks. Like, otherwise, like, people would be flinging TM69 and pickles, you know, those ingredients at me. Like, people really, really wanted to do that, but you can't. You can't, like, it doesn't work in battles with a lot of them. So, anyway, I went for an Ice Beam, not an Ice Punch, and that's the end of the Medicham. That didn't do a lot of damage, though. I wonder if that was pure power on. Was that telepathy? I don't know. I'm trying to think what that Medicham's ability is, right? After you see some of the sets in this team, you sort of agree. So, in comes the Bascal Agent. It's going to go for an Icicle Sphere. That's obviously going to take the Dunsparce out in one shot. Next Pokemon is Jirachi. I don't really have any. Now, I didn't want to run Iron Head and stuff on this because it's easy, right? You just spam Iron Head. I wanted to do some, like, you know, some more difficult moves. So, I went for Psybeam, got some solid damage there on Palkia called Sweat for You, and then it used Thunder Wave. I'm like, what is this set gonna be? So we got that Palkia, we got that sweaty little Timmy Legendary here, and now it's gonna go for Icy Wind. I'm like, what is this? Paralyze and Icy Wind? Obviously, they want me to be, like, really, really slow. So I got paralyzed this turn, right? It's like, man, that really, really sucks. So here comes a Slash. So I'm like, what is this set? So I had Thunder Wave, Icy Wind, and Slash. Like, this is some serious Herba Mystica. So watch this, right? Here comes another Icy Wind, and I got another Speed Drop, right? But then I was like, wait, I got Flinch. I got Flinch by Icy Wind. So then it used it again, right? It used Icy Wind for the second time in a row on my Jirachi, dropping that speed, right? And then I got Flinch twice in a row by Icy Wind King Drop. It's absolute bull. But then, like, the next one missed, and I able to get, like, a Sympathy Psybeam off and take out the Palkia. Man, that was one sweaty Palkia set. Next Pokemon is Meloetta. It's called Bebawetta. I think it's, like, making fun of me. And here comes a Shadow Ball. Jirachi is not going to be living that one. No way. So since there's a Jirachi on the field, a Meloetta on the field, Jirachi is no longer on the field, I'm going to bring in my own Meloetta and see if I can get a free sax. Now, it's quite funny, with this Meloetta, I seem to get a lot of critical hits. Not that, it didn't matter if anything to do with Serene Grace, I seem to get, like, a lot of critical hits on Ice Punch and stuff. I don't know why that was. I must have just been very lucky. Anyway, this is really interesting, right? Because I was using Ice Punch here, and the Meloetta was using Thunderbolt, but for some reason, like, not one of us actually got a secondary effect, like, out of all the attacks we actually did, you know, which is pretty unlucky. Like, I mean, Thunderbolt, we had, I guess, had a bit of a better chance. So that's the end of the Meloetta. I managed to get a Lychee Berry boost there. Next Pokemon is Ariados, called Post Rub Web. This Pokemon, I actually got a sweep with an Ariados, like, recently, and it's very similar. It's a Fell Stinger set, so that's going to take out my Meloetta. I tried to be a smartass and go for an Ice Punch, but it didn't freeze. So now I'm going to get swept by Ariados. I have to change this. I'm gonna quit YouTube if I get swept by Ariados. I went for Zen Headbutt, and it lived on 1 health and then got a Leech Life off. Are you kidding me? So that is the end of Sawsbuck. You wouldn't read about it. So that's some terrible, terrible luck there. Sawsbuck is going to faint. So I've got one more Pokeball left, and that's going to be Shame. You know what I mean? There's no shame in losing the game, right? But there is some shame if you lose to an Ariados. Let's be real about that. So Ariados is going to go for a Terra, and it's going to be Terra Poison. So you know of our Poison move. It's probably going to be like, you know, Terra, or it could be Terra Blast, Poison Jab, Cross Poison. I went for a Scumbag Air Slash, and thank goodness I got a Flinch, and I finished off the Ariados there. Like, that would have been very, very bad. So I got that max speed on Shaman, Sky. Last Pokemon's Baxcalibur. I went for a Air Slash, but I got outsped by the Baxcalibur, which straight away tells me that Baxcalibur was a Choice Scar set, because I was timid nature. Anyway, Alejandro, thank you for the battle, man. That was some solid. That Palkia set was absolute fire. Let's get on to battle number 6 here. This one is against Koro Sensei. This is another random battle. And This is pretty interesting to say the least. So the first Pokemon is going to be Arachnoid here. I'm going to swap out my Meloetta. It's a physical set and go into Blissey. I thought I might be able to get these this Thunder and Thunder strategy going, right? So they're obviously going to set up the Sticky Web. That's why they led with it. And I went for Thunder and landed, right? Great damage. In fact, that was a little bit too good a damage. Then the opponent went for Rain Dance. Like, wow, that's really lucky, right? Because now my Thunder is always going to land with the Rain up. This has got leftovers. It had like the leftovers as the item there. So I went for the Thunder there again, and it got the Liquidation off. So I didn't get one Paralyze on any of those Thunders, which is pretty unlucky because Thunder has like a pretty good chance to Paralyze with Serene Grace. So I went into Meloetta. I got caught in that Sticky Web. I wasn't really concerned though because this Pokemon's not very fast, and I finished off with the Thunder Punch. So a little bit of an unlucky start to the battle there with Blissey not getting anything at all. Now watch this, right? So we got the Forestress coming in here. I would have loved to have gone for a Fire Punch. I know they wouldn't have expected it, but I thought maybe I can go for an Ice Punch and get a Freeze, and I did on the first one, which is really, really cool. So Forestress was frozen solid. However, the item it had was a red card, so it ejected me from the battle and brought in the Dunsparce, and I was like, wait a second. I might be able to use this opportunity to set the Ancient Powers up, right? Ancient Power typically has a 10% chance, so when I use it, I'll have a 20% chance to get an Omni boost, right? Which means it boosts in all of my stats by 1. So I thought, you know what? Let's use this opportunity. Now, at this stage in the battles I was doing, I still had Roost and Assault Vest, so I really wish, I was really wishing now that I had like another coverage move, but that was my own fault, right? Then suddenly I got a boost there, so I got a boost on all my stats, which is really, really good. So that's sort of going to make up for my speed drop there, at least against slow Pokemon. Definitely not against fast Pokemon. So I went for another one here. I was like, you know what? I got nothing else to lose. And then I got like 2 back-to-back, which is crazy. So this, the Dunsparce, if you can imagine now, with its EV spread, it's max health, max defense, bold nature. So, and it's got an Assault Vest. So this thing is like thick, right? It's going to be very, very hard to feint. Plus, it's packing a pretty sizable special attack now, even for no special attack investment. So that's going to be the end of the Forestress there. In comes Volcarona. So obviously, Volcarona is going to terror this thing. There's no way they're going to keep it in there, unless they had Sash or some weird item like that. And here comes the Terror. So typically, it's normally grass on this Pokemon, but they're going to have ground, which isn't all that bad either. Now, I wasn't really concerned about this Pokemon because I've got Ice Beam, right? So I decided to go for the Ancient Power again, fully knowing well they'd go for a different, Terra here. And they're going to go for the typical Quiver Dance set. So this is a very, very competitive, it was a bug team, but they were very, very competitive sets. Like the best sets you can possibly run on these Pokemon. So we got a Quiver Dance Volcarona, so nothing unusual there. Their typical standard set. And they're setting their Quiver Dance up, hoping to, out-damage and out-bolt the Dunsparce, which absolutely is not going to happen here. With the Giga Drain, I would have definitely gone for damage there. They're trying to get Sustain back, but it's just not enough with my boost up there and my item. So I'm going for Ice Beam here again, and I got a Freeze Sax on the Volcarona. So even if I didn't get that, Volcarona was never ever going to beat the Dunsparce. No way. So Volcarona's going to be frozen this turn, and I'm going to finish off with an Ice Beam. So things looking pretty good so far. We've got like a that's 3 Pokemon down there to the Dunsparce. Next Pokemon's going to be Scizor. This is a little bit more difficult. I knew they'd probably go for like close combat or at least a fighting move. I was tempted to go for Terra Flying there, but I didn't. Maybe I should have, but the reason I didn't do that is because they had a Galvantula in the back of their team. I was like, I don't want to like Terra Flying right now. But I decided to do it on the second one, but that's when they swapped it in. So I'm like, oh, that really sucks. But anyway, so we're going to go for that Terra Flying to Dunsparce with Air Slash, and that's gonna make me into that flying type, and then I can get those those powerful Air Slash flinches off there. Now Galvantula is a very, very fast Pokemon, so I know that I'm definitely not going to outspeed it the next turn. I mean, there is a Sticky Web up too, which sucks. They're going to get the Thunder off. I actually tanked that thanks to the Assault Vest. I was actually as my item, but they got a lucky Paralysis there on my Dunsparce, and that pretty much stops my Dunsparce sweep there. I think I would have taken out, I think there was a good chance I could have taken out at least 5 of the Pokemon. The only other Pokemon I was a bit worried about was Low Kicks, because it was pretty powerful against most of my team. Like if you remember earlier on, I said my team was very weak to bug Pokemon too. You had when you look at it, you had Sawsbuck, that was weak to it. You had Meloetta, that was weak to it as well. And then some other Pokemon, some other combinations were bad. Mainly fighting was another one too. That was a bad one. So Scissor's going to get a sympathy bullet punch kill there. I would have actually fainted that with fire punch, but so as soon as I got that crit there on my Meloetta, I knew that was pretty much a very, very bad sign because I had a very good advantage now with the Pokemon that I had left. And also, I wasn't really packing any powerful moves, so it's not like, you know, I had like, Flamethrower or something like that or anything. So Bullet Punch actually misses there. Not that it really matters on Jirachi. It was going to do nothing. And Low Kicks is going to come back in. So that was obviously like a choice band. It was like choice Scissor. And Low Kicks actually dodges my attack there, which is a bit of a shame. My Charge Beam, that would have given me a special attack boost there. So I just had some good luck at the start, but then I had a really bad run of luck at the end where it actually really mattered against the counters. And I got a Water Pulse confusion on Scissor. Eventually something went right there, and I managed to finish off anyway. They didn't go for a Bullet Punch there, and I guess so. That's the last Pokemon on their team, which is Low Kicks. Unfortunately, Low Kicks packs a lot of priority, and with this Jirachi set, I was running a Serene Grace set, so I had all attacking moves, so it's not like I could cheese it. I knew what was coming, but I couldn't get around. I could swap eventually, but there wasn't a lot I could do. So I decided to try and get rid of the PP a little bit, play some mind games here, but really I didn't have much to do because they could outspeed all my remaining Pokemon, and I was weak to them as well. So they've got Leech Life. I think they had Leech Life, and then they had, they didn't have First Impression. They could have had First Impression, but I don't think so because they had Leech Life and U-turn. So they probably had that Sucker Punch. They had Sucker Punch and one other, move. This is sort of all their sets were standard pretty much, so they weren't much of a surprise. But anyway, I really thought that was an interesting video. Not really so much the back end of that, because that was very easy for them to come back there. It was more the Dunsparce. That was crazy at the start there, how they managed to almost get a sweep there off pure Ancient Power Boost. One day I'll get that Pokemon sweep there. Maybe I should try giving it another move than Roost with a software. So anyway, let's get on to our final battle here. This is against Joba King, and we have a Majana lead here. So this set was a shift gear set, so it was boosting its speed sharply and rising that attack stat. So with this Blissey, I tried to get a paralyze here, and I didn't get it. Like, it's funny because some battles I'd get tons of paralyzers with Blissey, but then other battles I get like none. So this set was rather interesting. It was like this weird pain split set with shift gear, right? So you would be getting like tons of health back. Look at all the health it got back then. So obviously Blissey's got like tons of health. Then the other move it had was Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball was actually pretty decent because I got a Blunder Pulse, even though I had Trickery. I don't know, it was like a Herbert Mystica set. Anyway, so that's the end of my Blissey. They got a Soul Heart there, which is going to change everything. And now we're going to swap in Meloetta. It's time for some payback here. So Gyro Ball's going to do nothing. Got that Trickery and Gyro Ball. I went for Fire Punch to try and get a burn here, and I got a burn, which is really cool. So that was a 20% chance. Pretty much all the elemental punches had the same chance of getting a secondary effect as well. I think also with Serene Grace and a common question as well, a lot of people are like, does King's Rock or Razorfang, are they actually influenced by Serene Grace? Actually, from Generation 5 onwards there, they actually get a double, right? So they start off as 10%, and then they go to 20%. So that's something pretty cool. And you can do some other interesting stuff with like the fire and water pledge moves, the rainbow thing. But then I think that sort of stopped in Sword and Shield and that sort of thing. And there was this cool like little overflow thing. I think it was like an overflow glitch or something, whatever it's called, with Charge Beam. So it would get like a 24% chance of boosting in Sword and Shield. I think that one stopped in Sword and Shield though. So some interesting stuff there. And some of the other G-Max move as well had no chance of getting like a Serene Grace. So if you remember Sword and Shield, and G-Max moves like G-Max Snooze. And so that wouldn't get like a chance, and G-Max Replenish. Like those sort of things wouldn't be affected as well. Not that we'll probably ever see, those sorts of things again. Anyway, back to the battle there, just giving you some interesting information about Serene Grace. So we had this Meloetta versus Meloetta matchup. I managed to win that one, and then we had this Mew. Now this is a Metronome Mew. Now the thing about Mew, right? It's got the ability to synchronize. So if I had if I froze the Mew, right, then Synchronize would affect me and freeze me at the same time as well. So I was really kind of hoping that didn't happen, right? So, Meloetta wouldn't, become a victim to its own, status moves there. So this Mew was wiggling its blue finger, right? And it actually got a lot of attacking moves. It generally got a lot of attacking moves. So that's the end of Meloetta. Next Pokemon's going to be Sawsbuck. So I thought I'd try and get some headbutt flinches here. And this Sawsbuck was pretty good. My Sawsbuck, I noticed that my Sawsbuck actually changed its little type there, went from the winter to the autumn. Anyway, in comes, that's Arceus Ghost, and I was trying to get some flinches here, and it didn't work out. So Arceus is going to go for a Roar, which is interesting. I'm like, what does it got Roar for? So then my Dunsparce came in, thanks to the Roar, it got dragged out. I went for Ice Beam, so I outsped it because Arceus was using a negative priority move, which is Roar. So it was only going Roar. I was trying to figure out what they were trying to do here, and I was thinking, what do those Pokemon have in common? They're both like a normal type, so maybe it had nothing to hit normal type Pokemon. So I went for an Energy Ball on here for a special defensive drop, then I went for a Judgment, and that just completely one-shot a Jirachi. So obviously it only has Judgment as its attacking move. I have no idea. Anyway, back into the Dunsparce here. I'm trying to get a freeze on this Arceus with Ice Beam. I'm really trying here, and I finally got one. So that's good. They got that solid 20% chance here, right? So Arceus Ghost is now frozen. Don't ask me how you freeze a Ghost. And I'm getting that quality damage there with the Ice Beam. It's like, when you look at Arceus' full health, it's probably like, I don't know, like a 15-hit KO. So I thought, you know what? I'll go for Ancient Power. I'll try and get them boosts here. So I'm getting them. I'm trying to go for those boosts while Arceus is frozen, and go for another Ancient Power here. I've got one more chance here after this. I did not get a boost there, and I went for my third one here. So I might actually try and get a sweep with this Dunsparce. Like, once it gets 2 up, it's very hard to feign. It can even start outspending Pokemon. So next Pokemon's going to be Shaman Sky. This is actually a Serene Grace Pokemon too, and it's got Air Slash. So the Dunsparce here is going to get flinched into oblivion, unless I get an Ice Beam off, which I did, but Shaman lived on 1 health again. So it's going for Air Slash, trying to get that flinch on the Dunsparce here. I'm hoping I can get like one more attack off here, and I do. And I got an Ancient Power, which is good. Like, please get a boost here. Please get a boost, but I didn't. But it's all good. I would have rather, not getting a boost and, getting flinched by Shaman. So we got another, that's Mew coming back in. It's going to wiggle its finger again, and we're hoping for an explosion or something. And it used Milk Drink. So Mew is going to drink its own, Mew's going to go down to the milk store and get some milk, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, we got that Mew. It's gone for Metronome again, and it's going to use Dark Void. Now Dark Void is going to fail because only Darkrai can use that. So I'm trying to get this. I'm really actually trying to get a freeze access. Like, it'd be funny if I can freeze my Dunsparce at the same time. So I'm going for that. Mew gets Aerial Waves. I managed to tank that. Got that defensive nature there. Going for Ice Beam. Like, I'd say one more Ice Beam here, and then maybe an Ancient Power. And Mew's going to get Sludge Wave. And Sludge Wave actually doesn't fade me. I don't know how I lived that. I guess my Assault Vest. And then I went a final Ice Beam there. I was like, all right, I'll go for Ancient Power this turn if I do live this, this turn. And watch this, right? This is pure soul. Mew gets Haze, right? Mew gets Haze. You know what's going to happen, right? I went for Ancient Power here. I took out the Mew, and guess what? I got a boost right afterwards. Man, that's going to be probably the most saltiest moment in this entire video. Like, imagine using Haze and then getting fainted, and then the opponent getting an Omni Boost after. That's pure soul. So that's the end of the Mew. There's one more Pokemon left. It's Darkrai, and it's a shiny Darkrai. It's a full legendary spam team. So anyway, that's going to be the end of the Dunsparce there. So I've got three more Pokemon left. So I thought I'll bring in Sawsbuck here. See if we can get some double kick King's Rock action going there. So I'm lifting that hoof and going for double kick, and I got 2 hits there, and I got a flinch. So that's 20% chance for flinch. So I was like, all right, let's go for headbutt this time. And Darkrai doesn't get flinch surprisingly by headbutt, and it managed to get a double team off. So I don't want to let it get this, and double kick is going to land, and that is the end of the Darkrai. Got kicked by a Sawsbuck. That's the end of the video, people. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, leave me a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.